ArcGIS arcade session. Um,
And the what session?
well, the ArcGIS arcade session. I will also say that well, this wasn't really a session I planned on going to beforehand, but I just kind of fell into getting into it. It was like a sort of I forget what the actual title of the session was. It was a session about like making GIS more interesting to students and such. And I was able to connect with one of the teachers who was presenting, Lauren Sinclair, and she's actually gonna hook me up with a student of hers who's actually gonna help me like set up some cool like opportunities for GIS stuff at our school. So we're trying to arrange something about a meeting sometime soon. So yeah.
Cool. Yeah, arcade is pretty powerful. And then I've done, yeah, Journey to Map is pretty fun too.
So for Joseph and Ashok, we were just asking the question, looking forward to the meetings this coming year, since we're going to be meeting once a month. What would you like to have accomplished, or what would you like to see be a part of the meetings?
So, I mean, based on like some things that I liked first of all from the conference, right? I like the data science and ArcGIS like connection, and there was that one workshop where we had we used ArcGIS Pro, and using arcade expressions to change different filters and do all these kinds of more in-depth work with the data was interesting to me. So this we'll be able to incorporate that into our existing projects, because our Where's the Food and expansion idea that we already discussed would pretty much be exactly what was there in that workshop. We'd get more data and analyze it in more ways, make it with the different filters and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I found quite interesting, and it'd be cool if we could continue in that direction with the Where's the Food project. Was my mic working?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Really quiet, so.
Yeah, we heard you. No, I'm just still waiting and listening.
No, that's all I had to say.
Cool. There's definitely a lot of potential on the data engineering side of things.
Yeah, for sure.
Do we have some more students? Because they're really quiet.
It does appear that way.
Yeah, good observation, Brock.
Yeah, I know Susanna said she couldn't jump on. She said that on the group meet that she was like going to some like technical college meeting or something like that.
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
I wasn't able to go to the conference. I'm glad all of you guys had a good time, but Dr. Ray did mention something about emotional mapping. I'm definitely interested in that, and that's we can apply it to our current projects that we're doing as a 4-H Wake County team.
Yeah, going off what Nikhil said, definitely like some like stress data mapping would really be useful with like what people are stressed by in today's modern culture and stuff like that, and like what's news headlining and stuff like
So Joseph, we haven't heard from you. With our monthly meetings, what would you like to see us accomplish during our meetings this coming year?
Let's see. Like an accomplishment, I guess maybe continuing with updating Where's the Food and maybe implementing some of the what is it? Some of the things we saw during the conference into it, like arcade and such.
You actually wonder if there's any like in-depth arcade YouTube videos we could look up and stuff like that. Because I know it's definitely its own programming language, so there's probably a lot of things that still need to be learned. Just like if you're jumping into a new programming language like C++ or Python. So I wonder if someone's already made some like YouTube videos on.
Yeah, and even if we like if you want to have more information about arcade, they have all their stuff on the website for the Esri, all the stuff in the conferences, they have it in documentation on the website and everything. They have GitHub's repositories and lots of documentations there. So I had one link from one of the sessions, and I'll send that in the chat. And if you go there, it goes to their website which has all the code. So that'll be useful for arcade learning.
Thank you, Ashik.
You're welcome.
Did you post a link, Ashik, or?
Oh, I just posted the link to the dev site with like the functions and stuff. Oh, I guess they do have, oh, that's what it was. If you
I thought
click
it was-
on the, here, this one is actually better. So the playground is like, you can actually play around with stuff. Although you can also do the same thing in a map viewer as well. I mean, I
Okay,
think,
so for the youth that are on the call, maybe you can help me. I don't know what you're all talking about with arcade. I keep seeing that like as sessions and stuff that are at Esri or whatever, and I have no idea what it means.
So the way I understand it, ArcGIS Arcade is like sort of an interactive programming language that allows you to do cool stuff within ArcGIS, like online and pro. So it allows you to implement code for purposes of within like ArcGIS. So you can do like manipulate certain things within the actual software with your data, so that you can accomplish certain things with your data you normally wouldn't be able to do with just the standard interface. At least that's what I think. That's what it mostly does.
Okay, are you able to like give an example or something, or maybe what they showed in that discussion?
Well, I do know that. Well, how do I explain this? Let's say that you wanted to. Let's say you wanted to display a data with a certain graphic to where the graphic variates under certain conditions that you wouldn't normally be able to do with the interface. Like say you wanted to edit the graphic in some way where like you can normally do that with just the interface. With arcade, you could be able to like automate the graphic to where it does some like cool visuals stuff over time or something like that, or like in a pattern or something, depending on your data. Like it's really easier to explain when you have it like up. It's hard to
Okay.
give an example.
I mean, if you'd like, I can jump in because I have some examples that I used arcade with. So, like Kelly, do you remember when we were fixing up my interactive version of my map.
Right.
Yeah, so we weren't able to get the instructions to appear again using just the settings that were there in the graphical interface, right? So that was a limitation that we got in terms of the possibilities of things we could do. But if I had known how to use an arcade expression, I could, like it would up into the background of how that system was functioning. So I could set up an arcade expression that would be, that I could run that script from a button or something in the UI so that I can make the instructions appear again, which was not an option available to me in the standard graphic user interface. But using arcade, I get basically like the most functionality I could possibly get using these apps.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
It's really like, it's as simple as you could do, like I'm using it to take a ending mile point minus the starting mile point to get the length of a route. So like, it's as simple as that, or you can as simple or as complex as what they were throwing around.
Yeah, I know that there was one example they did. It was for the coming update. Actually, they previewed at the conference. There was some like graphic like automation they showed off. I'm probably pretty sure that was some of that was done with arcade, because the way that they made stuff like go like back and forth like instantaneously over like a couple of second repeating periods, that stuff definitely was definitely done with arcade. That was probably not done within the interface, and if it was, we're getting into scary territory.
All right.
Yeah, and the other example, it is our Black and Health Equity map. If you look at this map and look at the pop-up menu, so for make this menu colorful, we apply multi-statement expression with arcade. So it is the other application of arcade.
Oh, okay. So it's like just basically you're writing some programs to have it do additional things.
Yeah. And
Okay.
the really, I'm gonna say this really quick, is this is like when that came out, I'm trying to think, I think, so now understanding how powerful it is, I can say it reminds me of the time when I was at the UC and they released ArcGIS Online and thinking how cool it was. But the cool thing with using arcade now is like if any entity that publishes a REST service, right, they don't have necessarily the data that you're looking for exactly how you want to display it. Using arcade, you can format fields and stuff to get them how you want to display them on your map.
Okay.
Dr. A, we probably wish we knew about this before we created the crime data maps, so we could do like cool functions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we knew about arcade, but we definitely hadn't seen some of.
Yeah. If we knew what arcade did, then I think that would have made things a lot easier. And I think that's going to be really important once I start my carbon capture map. Speaking of which, I still need to talk to people about data for that.
I will say if you're designing around it though, make sure that you know that not every application is supported. So I was playing around with dashboards and dashboard still doesn't support it. Hopefully
Yeah, I know.
soon,
I only use Pro and Online, so that shouldn't be a problem.
So thanks for all that input. And I'm glad the conversation kind of went where it did. I think the other thing, though, that I was kind of hoping to get you to think about and maybe generate would be kind of the format for our monthly agendas. So thinking what specific things do we think would be really important to cover every month? I will tell you that the adults have a couple of things that we've talked about that we think would be important. But we really want to hear, from you, and not just, what other things you would like to learn about, but for the specific purpose of our coming together as a national team every month, what do we need to accomplish, or what do we need to get through, or what do we need to be moving forward, or what can we do as the whole team on a monthly basis, in addition to the things that you can do with your state teams, or in addition to the things that you can kind of do on your own. What can we accomplish, or what can we do together as the national team?
So it's like a larger goal. We'd have to continue working on the national, like, where's the food project. And in these meetings, we can touch base or coordinate like what we can do independently between each monthly meeting. That's one thing that we can do.
And also coordination for smaller projects as well as like if we have like one or two people like doing a particular project or something that would influence something else, we should probably do like check up on that every once in a while as well.
I think those are definitely two of the things that would make sense. They correlate it to how community clubs, when they meet for 4-H, they have, leadership that runs the meeting. They elect like presidents and vice presidents and things like that to run their meetings. And then they have subcommittees, and those subcommittees work on stuff outside of the main meeting. And then they report on it when they all get together. So that kind of talks a little bit, Brock, about what you were saying, if there was little side projects.
Do we want to create subcommittees? I mean,
I don't know if you call it that, but like if everybody's working on where's the food, there may be certain things, like North Carolina took on creating that app that was interchangeable, and then Louisiana did the dashboard, and I think everybody kind of put information together to put the survey 1, 2, 3 together, but I think Louisiana might have been the ones that actually created it. But it seems like we tend to get more stuff done when you guys piecemeal it that way.
we could also create if we wanted to create subcommittees, we could create subcommittees for different categories of projects for mapping and stuff like that. Because like if we wanted to do like some more data on like the crime stuff, like me and I do with Dr. Ray and all that, or if we wanted to do a subcommittee about specifically climate change maps or something like that, because I know that they talked about that a lot during the conference, so a bit overwhelming bit. So like if we wanted to create subcommittees for different categories of outside group projects, that could be a thing.
Yeah. I think the group did that as well when they did the National 4-H Film Festival. There was 3 or 4 of the teens that got together and, figured out what they needed for it, put the call out for the pieces that they needed, and then they did all the editing and put it together and then shared it with the group. And that worked out really well. So what are your thoughts about how things are going with the states rotating setting up agendas and running the meetings. How do you guys think that that's going? What are your thoughts or feelings about it?
I think North Carolina's doing pretty well right now. It will definitely ramp up once the school year starts, and that starts August 29th for our high school. I don't know about Nikhil if it's that for Inlow or high school. Yeah, okay, it is. Okay, well, yeah. So once the school year ramps up, we'll definitely start getting trying to recruit more people. I actually have 2 friends that are actually interested in joining the club. So I think that once the school year starts, we'll definitely try and ramp up more project ideas and such when we bring new people in and the ideas they can bring to the table. But for right now, it seems to be going okay.
Do you guys like rotating, running the monthly meetings? Do you think is it easy to, because I know that there's been questions about what needs to be on the agenda, what doesn't, trying to keep that consistent line through each of the meetings. So how has it been with your experiences? Because I think each of you have run a meeting. How have you felt going through that process?
I really like how the states rotate to facilitate the meetings, especially how the youth facilitate the meetings, because not only does that keep each state engaged and to make sure every member is involved, but it also gives like the youth it gives us like more experience running a meeting. And yeah, I really like how we rotate by states.
Okay.
Think about it this way. If we eventually keep going to states and states and states, eventually if we get all 50 states, that's that's going to be an interesting cycle. So I think that's good that we actually have fewer amounts right now, so that it's good that we keep people engaged, like Nikhil said. But don't get me wrong, we definitely should branch out, but it's actually good that we're keeping each other engaged, keeping each other in check.
Good point. I think Tom Tate would be so excited to have all 50 states involved in this team. Ashok or Joseph, what do you guys think?
Yeah, the rotating was pretty smooth. It worked well, and it's good for engagement and everything that everyone else mentioned. So like I would more than be happy about continuing that way.
For me, I don't really mind the rotating. I think it was actually kind of interesting the way everybody was able to, just shuffle around and take turns. So I think it's fun.
Okay. So something else we were talking about is, well, 2 things. I think Dr. Ray, you were already talking about what kind of focuses we would want to have, at the meetings, what's the most important parts. But how can we as the adult leaders or partners, how can we support you guys with the meetings each month and with the project work that's happening?
Sorry, say that again. I had to check on something.
Oh, it's okay. I was going to say, as far as the adult partners and leaders, how can we support you guys with running the meetings and with the project work? Like, what do you need from us to be successful? Okay, don't everybody talk at once.
If I could throw an idea out there real quick,
Sure.
I think it might be interesting if we maybe had multiple people facilitating meetings at once, so it wasn't all on one person. It might not have to be like that the whole time, like every meeting. But maybe as a state or a couple different states came together to facilitate a meeting, all adding stuff that they wanted to the agenda, that might be interesting.
Okay, can you explain a little bit more, like, let's say, next month, what would your thought be of what it would look like?
It would be something kind of like what we did at the conference, where I think it was me, Brock, and Susanna all facilitating that meeting together. And we were, I don't know, it kind of acted like a tag team. It wasn't all on one person to keep the group engaged, and we were all doing a little bit.
Okay.
And that would
Like-
especially become more prevalent as we get more states.
Yes, very true.
Right.
Okay, and I'm gonna just interject for a second. So I did drop just a link to it. It's almost a blank Google Doc. I did jot down some of the things on here that you all had already stated. The other piece that I wonder that we may want to think about how to do it, and maybe this is something that whoever's facilitating the meeting that month comes up with, but really continuing to build yourselves as a team beyond just the work. So finding ways to continue to get to know each other, to learn from one another, to encourage one another, just to build relationships. What would that look like, or what could that look like as you come together on this monthly basis?
Well, I can already give you an example of something I did. Me, Ashok, Susanna, Catherine, Joseph, and Ben, I think, are a part of this. I created a Discord server. It's an unofficial national 4-H GIS team youth Discord server. It's called French Helicopter. It's just a funny name I came up with, and it's just a cool server where we hang out and talk about like random things. There isn't much going on with it right now, but it is really cool just to talk to each other online like every once in a while. So because I'm on my phone, I don't know that I can get like if any like Nikhil, if you have Discord or anything, I can like friend you guys and get you on anything right now because I'm on my phone right now. But I definitely could try and get some more youth on it for sure, especially if we get more youth on these calls and stuff like that. Then definitely we can try and get more people.
And I think that's fantastic, and will be great for outside of the actual. Hopefully, you're not using it during the actual national team meeting, but
Oh no.
but the question is too, is there anything that you can think of? Like, I love that idea, but is there anything that you can think of that we can do actually during our meetings that could also, in addition to what you might be doing outside the meeting time to kind of build those relationships? How about during the meeting? Is there anything we can do?
Do you want to start off with like an icebreaker, like we do with youth empowerment? Like we can have like
That'd be cool.
I heard like multiple people facilitating me, and that's a good idea. And like maybe if that is the case, one person is like in charge of an icebreaker. So we have somebody who's in charge of an icebreaker each week, and then that person will make the icebreaker up themselves. Well, they'll look it up or whatever, and then we'll do it every month, and somebody new does an icebreaker.
And just to check my assumption, you're thinking like the icebreaker leader would be different from the facilitator.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to, that's what I thought I was hearing. I just wanted to check that.
Yeah, that's where I think we should. That's what we think. Yeah, I mean, so like we can have multiple facilitators. If like we have multiple facilitators for the actual bulk of the meeting, like the agenda, maybe that's like 2 people or something like that, and we can have somebody different for the icebreakers. I think that'll also increase engagement as well, since a lot more people are involved.
So if you haven't looked at the kind of agenda template yet, maybe click on the link there and take a look at it and see if there's anything that's missing that you feel like we really need to do this. Like, is there something else we really need to do when we get together, on that monthly basis?
So for the state facilitating, do we want to do the group thing? Like we can do maybe, it can be relatively fluid. So maybe 2 people would lead it or 3 people, but is it going to be just one state and multiple from each state?
I mean, it could be interstate if we wanted it to be, but
How
I
about
mean,
we just get people to volunteer to do it? And, or we can have the states rotate.
we could have a sort of a schedule, if you will. We could have like a rotating schedule. If we wanted to, we don't have to. We could have a volunteer system, but we could have a rotating schedule where we volunteer to be at like one chunk of the rotating schedule, and then we go from chunk to chunk. If that makes any sense. And then like if we wanted to, every once in a while we could like reorganize the chunks and stuff like that, and each chunk have like a certain group of people lead the meeting. It could be by state, or it could be just a certain group of people or something. I don't know.
It might be easier to just go by state, because that way there's less decision making for like the routine, right? It just goes around, and then within the state, whoever wants to do it can do it.
So what's kind of the decision on that?
I mean, I like both ideas. I feel like organization wise, it'll probably be easiest to go by state, just so it's a little bit more organized. Both ideas are really great though. And if we do it by state and there's like only one person present in the call that's from a certain state, then we can get that volunteer aspect, and somebody can volunteer,
Yeah,
partner up with them.
sounds good. Any
Like an
objections?
emergency situation. No objections.
All right, well then we'll do that.
No objections.
So yeah, I guess we could set up a rotating schedule eventually. We'll try and figure that out somehow, but yeah.
I think that sounds like is a perfect task for, Brock maybe to get working on for the next meeting, no?
Yeah, I can definitely I can make like a Google sheet. So do we want to I'll make a Google Sheets, and then what we'll do is next meeting I'll be on my computer probably. Let's hope so. My mom was on a meeting tonight. She's a travel agent, so she's on this like top producers club for like her travel company. So she has one of those calls like every month. So let's hope that next month it's not the same time. But assuming I am on my computer next time, I'll share the Google Sheets and we'll set up a schedule.
Sounds like a plan.
And can you do that maybe actually, or at least get the next meeting's information kind of slotted? Because I think this needs to be the only meeting where we're kind of figuring this part out. You know what I'm saying? So like we can actually hit the ground running next month.
So you're thinking, Dr. Ray, that the youth that are on this call can kind of set up maybe what parts they're gonna do for next month? So we're
That
ready.
makes a lot of sense to me.
So yeah, I guess like Nikhil said, we could probably start with an icebreaker of some sort, and then go into like a progress checkup, and then from there see what happens. See what you guys ideas you guys.
Now, I will say that did I see Sudi volunteer to facilitate next month? And I'm not throwing him under
He
the bus
did,
here. I think
yeah.
he actually
Yeah,
did.
he volunteered for next month. So he was unable to make it for being out doing a college visit. So
So what if we had, Nikhil, I don't know if you would be interested in trying to facilitate a icebreaker with everybody and then have Sudi run the part of the state breakouts or report backs or.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah. So it'll just be me and Sudi, and would we have one more? Or no?
What do you guys think?
Maybe somebody else from California? But it doesn't really matter.
I'm not sure if he has anybody else working with him yet. I know he's been doing marketing and recruiting for other youth, but I don't know if any other youth have joined him yet.
We did have 2 applications that we approved, but I can't remember what I know those 2 were unable to make the San Diego
Okay.
meeting, but they may be wanting to engage. So I think that'll be a Sudi question.
Yeah, and if they are going to be on the call, are they ready or comfortable with trying to lead it if they haven't been on any calls yet? That might be kind of tough.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting factor when it comes to North Carolina, because we're going to be heavily trying to recruit this coming start of the school year. So we'll definitely need like a starter call to get these kids used to getting on these calls before we start like facilitating, which will eventually will happen, but
I would agree. I think New York's in a recruitment stage as well. So
Brock, I will throw down the gauntlet though. Nikhil has already recruited 2 new members
let's
this
go, Nikhil.
summer. Yeah, maybe
Alright,
more. I
and-
know of 2. No, actually 3. He's
Oh,
he's
really?
recruited 3 new
You
members.
recruited the 2 from North Carolina, from Raleigh, so.
I did, or you did?
Oh, you did. I mean,
I
they
thought you got it
were,
on.
at least one of
And
them
I've
was pretty much already on the team.
And
kind
Nikhil,
of.
I have 2 friends, Sebastian and Kyle. They're I both know them from band, and they are interested in checking out GIS Club. Sebastian especially. So they're gonna try and check it out, and if they like it, they might join. But that's for Wake County. But if we're looking at other counties in North Carolina, I have friend uh,
Hey, Brock, I think you're cut. Is it just me?
no, I think it's Brock.
Oh.
Brock, we lost you. I thought it was maybe mine. Everybody thought it was their own.
Oh yeah, he's just frozen.
I try to look at everybody else's videos, and if they're all still moving,
Yeah, I mean, I made a good friend over the summer, in the residential program I did. He's in the coast, North Carolina coast, and he was interested in some of the projects that we were doing, so I'll have to put him in contact with Dr. Ray. So yeah. Recruitment, yeah.
There he is.
we say welcome back.
Welcome back, Brock, if you can hear us. So just to check one more time, looking at the agenda as it currently sits, do we need to add any detail to anything? Does what's here make sense? Is anything missing?
Okay, hey guys, sorry, that was weird. My Wi-Fi cut out for a second, so I think yeah. And back to what I was saying, Nikhil, that was for Wake County, as for recruits. As for if we're looking at other counties in North Carolina, I have a friend from church who just graduated from college, and my youth pastor actually told me that he actually graduated with a degree in GIS, that he's actually working in, I think it's Harnett County. So if we want to get some 4-H National GIS Club North Carolina recruits from Harnett County, we can definitely contact him.
That's really neat. That's really neat. It's cool. So that's how many people that you got? Like 4, 3?
So I've got 2 that are interested, Kyle and Sebastian.
Yeah,
And then this guy, his name's Nick. And so, yeah, he just graduated with like a GIS degree, and he's working in Harnett County. So we're going to try and see if we can contact him.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So, 8th time check. Anything else needs to be added to this agenda? Details, Anything missing?
Nothing I can think of at the moment, but what's probably going to happen is as soon as I get off the call, I'm going to think of something. So I don't know at the moment.
Gave all of you edit rights. So if you need to go in and just type in it or whatever, then you can do that. So it's your document. I mean, it's my document, but it's your document. It's our document. So you can kind of
Communist.
add in if you want to. You know, one other thing, just another thought that we don't do in our meetings, but I've tried occasionally to do it like in our county meetings is the 4-H pledge. I don't feel like we never do that in our meetings. Should we be doing that?
I want to hear
What's
what the youth have to say.
First of all, I've never done the 4-H pledge, so Dr. Ray, you need to indulge me.
Yeah, we're so sporadic in our meetings. We don't do it, you know, consistently. But it's true, Austin. But I will, in my defense, Brock has only been in the club a few months. So Austin's
No,
like completely calling
laughing.
me out.
I was laughing because we did the pledge at the UC when we did our presentation. We did the whole 17,000 people learn the 4-H pledge. So we had to really practice that down good, so we got it right.
Yeah, there it is, Brock.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Should I do the pledge now? Like right now? Or not?
So
Yeah, I think you
usually,
should. I think you should.
usually the pledges
do-
are at the beginning or the ends, just saying.
Okay. Do I need to put my right hand over my heart?
There's actually hand signals that go along with it. Unless you want to do yoga, there is a way to do it with yoga too, but
Well, it's funny you should say that because for marching band camp, we had to learn yoga because of some of the things we have to do on the field. So it's funny you should say that.
so usually when you're talking about the head, you put your hands on the top of your head. When you're talking about your heart, you put your hands, both hands over your heart. When you're talking about your hands, you put both hands out, palms up. And when you talk about health, I've seen many different ways. Recently, I've seen some of my elementary kids, they make like muscle arms. You know, they like close their fists and muscle their arms, but usually it's just hands to your side. So you're gonna try it?
Okay. I'll have to do it without the signals, because I'm holding my phone right now.
You could use one hand.
All right. I pledge my head for clearer thinking, my heart to greater loyalty, my hands for larger service, my health to better living for my club, my community, my country, my world. There, done.
Perfect. Oh, look at you, got a round of applause.
Brock's now an official 4-H'er.
Maybe we'll have to send him a set of flags and you can hold them up at each meeting.
And back to the original question, do we want to include that on our agenda?
We could do it at the very, very end. If we were to do it.
What do others think?
I don't mind. Either way is fine. Well, that's pretty useless to say that, so why not? Let's do it.
I'll have to share some stuff with you guys of the connection behind the pledge, like what it really means and how it connects to the work that we do. Because everything that you guys are doing ties into that pledge. So
We've only heard from 2 of the 5 youth and their thoughts on that.
Nikhil, what do you have to say?
We're talking about like reading the pledge at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it. I think it fuels my nationalism in 4-H. So
cool. About Joseph or Catherine, right? Have you guys piped in yet?
I don't have any opinions one way or the other. I'm just gonna say, how are you gonna tell if I don't do it?
We won't be able to tell, Catherine. You can be a
Is
rebel
it
all
just
you want.
is it just the honor system?
Yeah.
Because if that's the case,
I believe so.
you don't get to know what I'm gonna do. No, I'm kidding. I'll definitely do it.
It is kind. I
don't
will
really
say it
mind
is
either.
kind of hard to have multiple people do it on a Zoom call because someone's voice will override. So usually we'll have one person do it and everybody else could do like the hand signals or something. But just a
Yeah,
thought.
okay. That works. I've tried doing like prayers and like songs over Zoom and it never works out right. So that'll be good.
Gotcha.
Let me guess, COVID church?
Yep.
Same.
Joseph, we haven't heard from you. What do you think?
I don't mind either way, honestly. I'm pretty neutral about it. So if it happens, it happens. Just be honorable about it, I guess.
I love this controversial input we have right here.
All right, y'all. Well, I think we have a plan moving forward. Can someone volunteer to share this directly with Sudi? And kind of make sure that he has the
I can do
agenda.
that. Yeah, I mean, I'll share it with him now, but I can just give him a recap about what we did as well.
Awesome. And this meeting is recorded and it'll go on our playlist. So
Sure. And do you guys want the Discord link?
Oh
I'll
yeah,
put it-
for Nikhil,
Sure.
if you have Discord,
All right,
or
here you
Austin,
go.
if you have Discord.
Anybody wants to join, click the link.
Oh, you're sharing it with the adults? I thought it was just a youth link.
Well, I mean, it technically is, technically isn't at the same time. I mean, if you want to join and you have Discord, you can. The thing is, I don't know how many of the adults have Discord. You know what I mean? It's more of a younger people thing because this platform was originally designed for gamers. So, I mean, I don't know if any of you have.
Not I, says Kelly.
Understood.
So did I hear Ashok, you're going to reach out to Sudi and make sure that's on his radar.
Yep, that's what I'm
Nikhil,
doing.
have the icebreaker for next month. And I did send out an updated invite today, so hopefully everyone saw that. If you have a Google Calendar anyways, I know you can accept it and you'll get, like, I made it as a repeating one, I think. I hope. Maybe I didn't. Actually, I don't think I did. So I'll go
No,
back
it
in and
was
make that as a
expected to.
repeating invite, so you'll have it monthly. And is there anything else y'all need to cover tonight?
good meeting, thank you.
Yeah, great meeting. Thanks everybody for pitching in thoughts and ideas.
All right, y'all, I'm gonna stop the recording.
Sorry guys,
Good meeting.